So hello, and welcome to BTNB-TV. We are excited to bring to you another episode where we will be talking about all things Black, all things business, and all things boss. This is the place where we have the new Black mindset, the new Black unity, and the new Black wealth. Yes. So let's jump right into it. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Erica Puller. I had the pleasure of meeting her, and we'll get into that a little bit later on how we met. But this is a phenomenal woman who impressed me, and I wanted to make sure that everyone got the opportunity to hear her story and pull some nuggets from her life experience. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Dr. Erica Puller.
Good morning, or good afternoon.
Yes. Hey, Erica.
Hi, how are you?
So, Erica, I'm super excited because I was extremely impressed when I met you. We met in one of your many fields of profession. And your personality was just so infectious. We met as you being my real estate agent.
Yes, absolutely. The crazy thing about the real estate is it's something that I've always wanted to do, but my lifelong career has been education. So I actually had my license for 6-7 years because I wound up just getting it because I wanted it, but never had the time to really pursue it. So my license was just sitting. Once we got into the pandemic and the schools shut down and tutoring shut down and just all of the things that I knew, I was like, you know what? Now God has provided the time for me to really finish that up. So I finished it, wound up getting my license here in Atlanta, Georgia. And turns out my first client was Michelle, was able to get her set here. And so I felt that was like a whole vibe. I was like, okay, what are the odds? And so I just feel like when you, and that has lied dormant in me for so long. What if I had done it 2 years ago? What if I had done it when it was pressed upon me to do? But that was just my aha moment. Okay, so the odds that happened, and that was my first major client. And I just keep going and just keep evolving and trying to be the best person that I can be for other people in any given situation that they're in.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you should tell me that was your first client and you could really see how God was opening that door for you. When I met you, your personality was so genuine, so infectious, and I knew that you were uber successful at real estate just because of the way you presented yourself to me. But then I don't know what happened that I Googled you. And when I saw the rest of your background, I was like, whoa, who is this chick? I met a BossBabe and didn't even know it. So
Thank you.
I want to get into this a little bit.
Okay.
How did you become Dr. Erica?
My great-grandmother, I would say education was instilled to me by my great-grandmother, Lily Mae Code. She was born in 1918, and she rescued me from foster care because my mom was just really in a bad situation of drug abuse and all those different things. We were awarded the state. She took us in, not wanting to, just stepped up. But one thing that I really learned from her was she only had a 6th grade education, but the power of education that she enforced upon me was just, it was unimaginable. And I didn't even get it till after she died many years later. How your parents and different people sow things into you and they say certain things and it doesn't really permeate until they're no longer there. But she would impress upon me the power of education. And she would say, baby, go to school, get an education. It's the one thing that no one can take from you. And I didn't get that because as a kid, I had my innocence taken. I had my childhood taken. I had so many things stripped from me. So I didn't get it till I was older that once I put the knowledge in, that's something that it's mine. I can hold it, I can protect it, I can use
Right.
it. It can put me in different categories and situations that some doors wouldn't open without it. So I just kept going. Once I got, to understand that this little Black girl could go to college and this little Black girl could make it. And you sometimes don't believe in yourself until you start to knock those doors down. And once I got going, I just kept going. I took off in between a baby or two. For the most part, once I started college, I just
continued the education.
Absolutely.
Boss the New Black, our platform, is for a place where we can all come to really be inspired, to learn what we need to learn to sustain as entrepreneurs. It's also a place for community engagement and community building from the perspective of entrepreneurship, because we are resilient people. You know how they say hustle harder. For generations in our culture, we have gifts and services, and we learned how to barter and make money off of those services and skills. But there is a transition where it has to go from a hustle into a business, and we have to transition and have a different mindset in order to sustain it. So a hustle is where you have to have hands-on consistently. A business is where you create a system that pushes and motivates the hustle without you having hands-on, and it still can generate revenue. You are an author.
I am.
Yes, ma'am. And you also you sit on different committees and you create conversations that will expand and open up some of the cultural issues that we have that have been systemically like the gatekeeper for our children in different areas. So I think that's a business in itself, to learn to be consistent, to bring awareness and make a profit out of growing. Can you share a little information on that process?
Absolutely. I was an administrator for a really long time working for at-risk youth, kids that were kind of thrown away. They were kicked out of regular schools. They were in alternative schools. They were incarcerated, being charged as adults, but needing an education. And I found such a peace and such a sense of purpose to work with kids that no one else really wanted to deal with. And I would have these girls in my office, and they'd be crying and they'd be acting out and they'd be cursing out the teachers. And I could see past all of that and just see that little girl inside that was crying out for help. I could see myself in that little girl. And I would have them crying on my shoulders, and it was like, Erica, you got to tell your story. That's what generated me to write the book, The Cards of Life. When all hope is gone, you must trust and believe. Because they can't help the hand that they were dealt. I couldn't help the hand that I were dealt, but you got to still play it. So we can't give up. We can't we can't throw out the hand in the game just because you don't like the card that was dealt to you. And so I wanted to be able to show them that you can get over abuse, addiction, just everything that has come to you that you don't deserve, but you can move past it. And that's what motivated me to write the book and tell the story and just teach them how to play that hand. Out of that passion and purpose came EP Educational Consulting, and that was just doing life coaching, motivational speaking, supporting these teens and their parents to help them to get back on the right path. Because some kids, sometimes the system is set up that once they put you out, they're not expecting you to come back. Once they put you in handcuffs, and these kids were getting arrested, and there were minorities getting arrested at large amounts compared to their same age peers for the same infractions. So the same school to prison pipeline you were seeing in the judicial system, you were also seeing, and you still see in the school system. So just trying to be that voice for those kids and for the people that advocate for them, that this isn't the end. You got to turn it around. You got to redirect that energy into something more positive. And when people know that you believe in them, they will do everything in their power to not disappoint. And we made astronomical numbers just change, and kids being able to be redirected and moving forward and teach them how to get into college. A lot of our kids just didn't do better because they didn't know better. And as a community, we haven't been efficient as we should be with making sure that our kids are where they need to be in society. That just became a lot of the things that have just come out of seeing a need and wanting to be a bigger part of filling it, and then just asking God to use me to be able to pour into those that need my support.
Listen, Erica, I'm so excited. Not only was I excited to meet you, excited to be able to network with you and to find the many ways that Boss the New Black can be attached to some of the systems and networks that you're connected to, because that's our goal as well. Young people who need all of the information about entrepreneurship. There were keys inside of the processes you had to create internally to help you remain consistent. Somehow you found a way to incorporate your education along with your life experience, and you were able to push past, you were able to persevere, you were able to allow your resilience to be so consistent that not only did it change your life, you're changing the lives of others. So can you share, what is your definition of a boss mindset?
I think my definition is definitely not being afraid of a no, because you're gonna get that door closed several times. And you need to take that as a motivation to continue to keep thriving and trying to get your yes. One of the biggest things I think is that we have to be lifelong learners. I always, every day I'm trying to learn something new. Even with my kids, I'm like, how did you sew into yourself today? What did you learn new? How did you become 1% better? So that every day you're constantly evolving. Whatever your struggle, your journey, your goal is, that you're working towards it every single day, even if it's in a small way, that those small things are compacted and then eventually they equal big things when you're consistent. You mentioned that word consistency, yeah. And I think that is the most important. No matter, what knocked me down. I had every excuse to fail, every excuse. Mother on drugs, father in prison, no role models, in foster care, abused by different people, every excuse. But what you have to do is take those reasons as a reason to succeed rather than an excuse to fail.
Exactly.
And I talk to my babies about that all the time. Like that needs to be a reason to push through. That needs to be your reason that someone else can look at you and say, if she did it, I can do it. If it's in her, it's in me. And so I think that's the biggest thing as a boss chick, as a Black-owned business, is every day not looking at what I can get from other people, but how can I sow into other people and how can I sow into myself? Because if you do what is putting you to do, the rest of the time, sometimes it doesn't equal into a paycheck, but it might equal into a connection. It might equal into a partnership. So you just have to be who you need to be for you and other people without any expectations. Just genuinely being what you need to be to grow, to develop. And if you try to just get better 1% every single day, that you're consistent, those are the tools. And not be okay, but no comes, don't let that just knock you out. You get back up. Every time you get back up, you stay in the fight.
Wonderful. Listen, I agree 100%. I think when I think of boss mindset, it's so connected to a growth mindset, looking at opportunities to all be learning opportunities instead of situations that might define your failures or that might shine a light on your failures. Just like, I'm going to grow from this. So I think that's what I heard you say, is that you share that information not only with the people that you give your service to, but your children, to keep, that's the generational legacy,
right,
of a boss mindset. I love it. I love it. If you had the opportunity to shine the light on 3 different people who were very inspirational, and it could be good or bad, sometimes it works like that pushed you to get to this position that you're in right now, who are those? Who are they? Who are the people?
Okay, my first is definitely my great-grandmother, Lily Mae Code. Just her ability, she was very firm, very mean, strict, but she was very matter-of-fact for someone that was born into a situation without an education in a time where Blacks really didn't have the same equal opportunities at all. And for her to be as successful as she was, she definitely left some jewels for me to just know who I am, to stand on my truth, to know that I need to get some things in me that other people can't take from me. And so that power of education, that power of knowledge, and doing your due diligence, putting in the work ethic every single day. So definitely that's one. My other would be my mama T, because my great-grandmother died when I was around 16, and I was on my own ever since. And sometimes God plants or transplants surrogates. And she watched my daughter while I went to school. As long as I was in school, she would help me. And I remember I got pregnant again at 19 with my son. I was so afraid to tell her. And I was in college and I was just like, what am I gonna do? And I told her, and she was just like, as long as you're in school, I'll keep them. So she kept my 2 kids while I was at school or while I was at work. And I wouldn't have been able to make that transition to get my degree had it not been for that. I think that she's definitely taught me to be that surrogate for my girls and for my young men that just need that piece that's missing, that missing puzzle piece. And if you can just say a kind word, sow a seed, help them to figure out what their next move is. I think she's really given me that mindset.
So she was your village? She was your village?
Yeah, she was my village mama. She's Mama T to a whole lot of people.
Okay.
She even kept my husband when he was a kid. So she's
wow.
She's well known in the community in Florida. And then my third would be my high school teacher, this white lady who I went to an alternative school. I didn't know what was next after high school. So I probably would have got my high school and did what everybody else did, but she just kept pushing me. She went even further and brought an application. I was just like, okay. So I saw her for what she was, which was being genuine about it. And I went and followed through. So I actually dedicated my first book to her and my great-grandma. I think she's still a teacher in Florida. And so those will be my 3 people that really made life-altering changes in me just by looking at how they move. I don't pay attention a lot about what people say. I look at what they do.
Yes.
And their actions align with their words, and I still respect it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I love what you gave, because I think it'll give our audience an opportunity to look at people around them.
Like they have to look just like you, because sometimes it might not be your people that gives you that hand. So you've got to be open, and even with how we give back, you don't know who's gonna come needing that help and support. And so that's one thing. I don't give up on kids. I don't give up on people. You do have to know where to draw that line in the sand and that boundary, and that's something I struggle with because I don't like giving up on people. But some things are seasonal. Some people are seasonal, and I just think we just have to be true to who we are and be who we can be for other people until that line is crossed, or until that.
And you know what? I think having a high level of self-care, it helps you draw the line, because then you're able to see, like, this is affecting me, and I've been genuine and I've been forthright. Maybe this person is not mature enough to receive it at this time, so I'll close the door, but I'll keep it cracked.
I like the way you put that. Everybody's not ready, and it might not be
it's not personal. They're inside of their growth curve, and they'll maybe grow up a little later and be able to thank you for everything that you put and you gave, but right then and there, and it helps you be able to move on with a clear conscience, knowing what you gave.
Just the grounding from just being, we come from such a strong lineage of Black greatness. And so I just sometimes feel that when I want to give up, I'm just like, no, let me remember what's running through my veins.
Right, the melanin.
We do need to be firm, fair, and consistent. We do need to be straightforward, and we need to know like where we're going, where we're at, and what's important and what's really important.
So I want to put a tag on this comment right here that regardless of how someone may make you feel, if you set those feelings to the side and really look at what you can take from your exchange with this person, what is it about this person and their life and the way that they live that I can take away that'll help me grow, versus my feelings right now, you know, because folks carry their feelings like it's multi-million-dollar check, and they keep it in their pocket, and it's all about their feelings. But what you're saying is you were wise enough to put those old grandma's mean and she don't like me feelings in your back pocket for the legacy that grandma had laid for you. And I want to bring up the last person you said was a white teacher. And you were probably this sassy little teenager.
I was sassy, attitude, but a lot of times, even now, those are the ones that you wind up gravitating to the most. Yeah, she just was relentless about just sewing into these kids. And sometimes you do have that in an inner city school, because in Florida, it was like a lot of predominantly Black schools, and especially the alternative schools. You wonder, like, why are you here? You don't care about us. Why are you here? You all are the ones that are, you have your own ideologies of different groups of people. And so I just felt like she wasn't genuine, probably because she didn't look like me and she didn't sound like me. She didn't walk like me or talk like me.
You were like, what's her love, genuine care? My goal is to make sure that our listeners can take away everything, not just to hear the accomplishments of your life, but to take the nuggets that help you get to where you are, so that our motto here is that we are the new Black is the new Black unity, and the new Black mindset, and the new Black wealth. I'm just excited. I know that you are my new friend. They don't know.
Yes, we're definitely gonna have to go out and get some dinner and hit some of these hot, show you around.
Listen, I'm so very excited, because this is what it's all about, meeting amazing people who can lift as we climb, push, and we can take charge together and build our community from the inside out, one boss at a time, because we have the magnificence that's in our melanin, like you stated earlier. Some people just haven't recognized yet how powerful they are. So I want to close this out with you giving me all of the places where people can find your book, where they can like tune into you as a coach, where they can just find out more ways to connect so they don't miss out on.
All right, I am working with Pula Realty, which is brand new, my own real estate company. So if you are looking to buy, sell, lease, or whatever, I can support you in that journey. And I have Pula Realty on Instagram. EP Educational Consulting is being able to support life coaching and student tutoring supports, as well as supporting them in meetings with IEPs where a parent may feel that they're not equipped to be sitting in those meetings and to know what's going on, to offer those opportunities. So that's EP Educational Consulting on Instagram. And my books can be found at Dr. Erica Fuller Books on Amazon.com.
You said books with an S, that was plural, right?
Yes, I do have a few. I have a few. I have some children's books as well as some workbooks. And I'm hoping we are definitely going to do some conferences in the city together. I can feel it in my spirit.
Yes.
So definitely just some different things that can empower our young people and our parents that support them in their village, just helping the village, help them to figure out what's next.
The content that we share here on Boston New Black TV is going to help them recognize that if somebody like Erica Fuller can get to this place to pour into so many people, then you have that opportunity to do the same as well.
Thank you for tuning in to Boss the New Black, building Black wealth one boss at a time by taking charge together. Make sure you follow us on social media platforms at Boss the New Black and visit our website at bossthenewblack.com to get our free toolkit today.